Hello and welcome to the Sip and Stitch podcast. My name is Brittany and I am coming to you from Houston, Texas. This is episode 5 of this podcast, so if you're a new viewer, thank you for joining me today, and if you are a returning viewer, welcome back. Glad that you came back to spend a little bit of time with me. It's been a little while actually since I podcasted. I recorded shortly after Thanksgiving and then I kind of fell off the face of the internet for a little while. I think I just got really overwhelmed with trying to do all the Christmas knitting stuff and just general holiday craziness. I just got really overwhelmed and kind of retreated into my little bubble trying to take care of some stuff. So, sorry it's been a while, but I am here and we've had some really exciting stuff happen the last couple of weeks. So I've got a lot to share with you today. Let me grab my notes here, make sure I cover everything I wanted to cover, because literally I have 2 pages today and normally it's like 3/4 of that. So this one might be a little bit long. I know most of my episodes are usually around like 30 minutes or so. So this one might be a little bit long. So just kind of bear with me. Oh yeah, before I forget, where all you can find me on the internet. I am on both Ravelry and Instagram as dflyb. D is a dog, fly, and B is a boy. And all of the show notes can be found on sipandstitchknit.blogspot.com. I've got a couple of other random posts on there, but that's for the most part just show notes. And we also have a Ravelry group for the podcast. It's Sip and Stitch Podcast is the Ravelry group. So come by, check us out. I think we're up to like 40 members now, and there's some great chatter going on in there. So drop in and say hi. So again, it's been a while. I actually did a recording like the week before Christmas, and it didn't go so well. I mean, it was a great recording, but I started having some serious computer issues that I actually was still trying to iron out today. Editing was a mess, and Miss Holly was kind of being a little bit of a pain in the butt that day and didn't really want me to record, and she's standing at my feet right now, so maybe we'll have a repeat. So I ended up just kind of trashing the recording and decided, you know what, I'm gonna hit this with gusto after the new year. So yeah, anyway, well, let's go ahead and move right into everything, because like I said, I have a lot that I want to talk about. So first up, let's talk about works in progress. Okay, for works in progress, I have a couple of things on the needles, and one of them is a little bit kind of a unique work in progress, but we'll just kind of go with it. First thing, and you will have seen a quick shot of this if you follow me on Instagram, but I am working on my first successful pair of 2 at a time socks, and it's actually also my first pair of self-striping socks. So I have like a new love for self-striping socks. This is so much fun to kind of go through, and you never know what colors coming next. So it's been kind of fun. And this is them. I'm trying to figure out a good way to hold these up. Oh no, I got a little bit of a tangle here. Oh, here we go. Okay. This is my self-striping socks. And you can tell I am on the actual foot portion now. I knit these cuff down. Turn the heel and did the gusset decreases. I just did a basic like heel flap gusset, but did the gusset decreases, and now I am working my way down the foot to the toe. And there was also it's the first time I've ever done a contrasting heel. So I didn't really want to jack up the stripes when I got to the heel flap. So I worked in some gray sock yarn that I had, because I felt like it complemented the colors really well. And so that's something really exciting to me. And I am knitting these on size 2.25 carbons, DPN, or not DPNs, circular needle. Oh, hi Holly. What happened to your toy? Yeah. Oh, and the yarn is Knit Picks Felici, and the colorway, I wrote it down. Oh, it's Fanciful. everybody, it seems like all the podcasts I watch right now, and the people I follow on Instagram are all about the knit picks right now, or all about the Felici. So this is my little contribution to that. And I'm loving this particular colorway. It's got all kinds of great colors on it. When I cast these on and started working through it, I took a picture and sent it. Well, I took a picture and posted it on Instagram, and then I sent it over to my cousin. I was like, hey, I just started these, and they're saying these should be for you. Would you wear these? Just like, yes, I would. Thanks. Ooh. See, this is what I ran into last time I recorded. Miss Holly decided that she wanted to be a part of the show, so she's going to be a little bit of a part of the show. But anyway, yeah, so those have been fun. I talked about it a couple of episodes ago that I had been trying to do the 2 at a time sock thing and not having the best luck. Mina from the Knitting Expat podcast published her sock recipe, and she does all 2 at a time. And if you're not watching Mina and you're not following her Instagram, you really should be. I mean, this girl is crazy fast knitter. I mean, she's doing some sort of sock challenge in January, and today is January 5th, and she's already knitted 5 pairs of socks since the first. I mean, that's insanity. I'm sorry. Like, those ones I cast on like a week before Christmas. I mean, granted, it was the holidays and things been going crazy, but yeah. And I put it aside for like a week because I didn't want that to be like my knitting project at the point in time that I was at. So, but anyway, it's just insane how quick this woman knits. So anyway, she had published her sock recipe, and I kind of followed along with that, and then also incorporated the Socktopia, I think was the name of the book, that I got from Knit Picks that I talked about a couple of episodes back on, you know, heel choices, and then I'm going to use it for my toe choices as well. So anyway, it's over and all a very enjoyable knit. The other thing that I have got on needles is, this is my second. The pattern is the Hogwarts scarf from Harry Potter, but I am using this as like a team stripe scarf. And this one I'm not very far on. Yeah. Nope. Where'd it go? Here it is. But it is a really, really simple pattern. It's knit in the round. I'm doing it magic loop on Addy Turbos. I believe these are size 8, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, it's knit in the round. It's all stockinette. It's super easy. The color changes you literally tie off and tie back on. But yeah, this is for my cousin's husband, who knows that he's getting it, so now I can say that. And yeah, he picked out these colors because it's his favorite soccer team. It's the Knit Picks Wool of the Andes, and I am knitting this in white and winter night. So that's what's on. And like I said, this is my second. I actually did one of these for my grandfather for Christmas in different colors. I did his in maroon and cream because that's the colors for his college. So sorry, I hate to keep bending down, but I'm trying to keep Holly distracted. Anyway, so that is what's going on right now on that. And I even told him, I was like, you know, this is a really boring knit for me, so and it takes forever. Like the first one that I did, I think was like 7 feet long when I blocked it. So it just is a very long knit. So he's not expecting it anytime soon. I would like to get it done before it gets hot again. But yeah, you're probably going to see that on my needles for quite some time. Third thing that I've got going, I made a little bit of progress on my featherweight. I picked it up the other night just to doodle on for a little while. Yeah, so this is where we're at on this. And I am doing this one on my highest sharps. I believe I'm at a size 4 on these. Let's see. Yeah, I'm at a size 4. And I'm knitting this at a Pearl Soho's line weight. It's their fingering line, and the color is ice blue. So I've made a little bit of progress. You can see the stitch marker where I was last time. So I've got about 4 or 5 more rows. I'm about, I think, 10 more rows until I split for sleeves. So that's coming along. I'm just really bad at keeping my tension when I purl, and I think that's what's kind of slowing me down, because I mean, obviously it's knit flat, so it's all stockinette, so it's knit on one side, purl on the other, and it's just really slow goings for me. So again, I'm really hoping to have that done before it gets warm again. But I also knit it out of a fingering weight, so it's something I can wear whenever it's semi-warm. So that's where we're going on that. My next thing that's a whip is actually a frogged whip, but I'm just really excited about this color. Oh, wrong bag. I'm really excited about this color combination, so I just wanted to show it to y'all. I started doing another cabled hat for this one for my sister's girlfriend, and it I just discovered, like, I did that one 16 cable hat and it turned out really pretty and I really liked it. But then I started doing this one and it was just hurting the hell out of my fingers. I'm just really not a big fan of cables. I think it just hurts my fingers too much, so I don't find the knit very enjoyable. So I frogged it and rewound it back up, and I think I'm just going to do a slouchy beanie for this. But anyway, I'm really excited about these colors. You can see I am holding two together, and it's these two. So it's making this really cool, like, marled look as you knit. I got fiber all in my mouth. The two, let me find the bands in here because I didn't write it down before I started recording. The pink is Malabrigo Baby Sulpaca Lace. I believe the color is Damask, if I'm not mistaken. And the white is Cascade Yarns Eco Alpaca, and the color is 1510. But yeah, they're both really, really soft, and it's making this really neat beanie and the color and everything. But yeah, I'm just really excited with the color combination and how that's turning out. Oh my gosh, that was fiber in my mouth. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick up this holly at this point. So I just really wanted to share that with you, and maybe I'll get it back on needle sometime this week. I put all that back in my whip bin. So yeah, let's go ahead and move on to finished objects. I don't have any pictures of my finished objects. I don't have them here because I gave them away. Obviously, the things that I finished lately were Christmas gifts. So yeah, let's talk about Christmas. Last time I recorded, I was talking about how all of my very big ambitions for everything I was going to get finished by Christmas time. And I am sure as y'all were watching, y'all were wanting to, like, scream at your camera, there's no way you're going to get that done. I'm sorry, at your screen, there's no way you're going to get that done. Again, this is my first Christmas as a knitter. I was feeling very ambitious, and I'm like, oh, I've got lots of time. Not so much. I just really overestimated my speed. So yeah, I got two-ish done. I finished my grandfather's Hogwarts scarf, and my grandmother was so kind to send me a picture of him wearing it, so I will insert that here. Again, I did that out of Knit Picks, Wool of the Andes, and that was in Courant and Cloud, so he really enjoyed it and was really excited. That project took me 2 weeks of monogamous knitting, and it was just because it was so freaking long. When I blocked it, I laid out my blocking mats, and it went from, like, one end of my bathroom to the other, and I have a really, really long bathroom. So yeah, that was fun, and it was really fun to try and keep block because it soaked up water like mad, so it took forever to dry. And then it actually spent like 2 daytimes out on my balcony catching up some sun to get completely dry. So yeah, so that happened. Holly, don't chew on that. She's trying to chew my microphone cord. Yeah, so that was fun. And I also did, because I didn't get all of my Christmas knitting that I had planned done, I kind of cheated. I called my theme for Christmas this year Booze and IOUs. I came up with this cute little poem. My family actually accused me of ripping it off the internet somewhere because I guess they didn't think I was very poetic. I don't know. But I did this cute little poem like, I wish, I had it, but, I overcommit. So I tucked that in with their gifts, and I also, I bought a specific wine or liquor or beer that I knew that family member would really be excited about. And I also, on the liquor and wine bottles, knit these little hats and little scarves, a little I-cord scarf that took me like 15 minutes, and little teeny tiny little hat toppers, and put those on there. So they did get something kind of knit, and then they got something to drink. So that was my theme this year for Christmas. So it was cool. Everybody thought the poem was kind of funny, and I already have a list of requests of what they want knitted, and they're fully aware that it's probably going to be like May before everybody's fully caught up, but whatever, it happens. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for my finished objects. Been trying to catch up. I mean, actually, the two big things I have on needles right now are gifts. So those are my first ones, and I should probably finish those socks in the next couple of days. So maybe tonight, who knows? Let's see how editing this goes, and maybe it'll get done quicker. But anyway, yeah. So that's it for finished objects. Let's go ahead and move on to acquisitions. All right, for acquisitions, I haven't broken my yarn diet, because the things I have to show you, I bought before I said I was going on a yarn diet, I believe. Or, yeah, I think both of them came in before I said I was going on a yarn diet. So, hey, I haven't broken my diet. But what I got in the mail was from Jinx Yarns, and this seems to be like her holiday colorway of the year. I swear every podcaster I watched bought this, and so many people were making so many pretty things. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna get it. This is her gingerbread house colorway. Click, click, click. Come on, focus. Yep, okay, gingerbread house colorway. And this is on her Glitz sock base, which is a 20% nylon, 75% merino, 5% stellina. So yeah, really liking this and really excited to start on this. It's a self-striping, because yay, I'm now apparently obsessed with self-striping yarns. So yeah, I'm gonna do that. And I don't really feel like this is very like super Christmassy, so I might knit these way before Christmas happens. I don't know. I also bought earlier, like I think November sometime, I bought her Festivus colorway, which was also a self-striping. And I'm kind of torn on which one I'm going to start first. I don't know. I feel like in the last couple of months, I've bought like 6 different skeins of self-striping, I think is what I'm up to. So yeah, I don't know. But anyway, this is very exciting. I'm super excited about this yarn. The other thing I have to share with you is all of my Knit Picks palette that I had ordered came in. And I had discussed before that one of my big knitting goals for next year is to learn how to do color work, and that was like my next thing that I was going to try and conquer. So after talking with one of the viewers, Tasha, I ordered some Knit Picks palette just to kind of have on hand in order to kind of work with colors and just to kind of play with. So I actually had, and I totally forgot I had, we're going to get into my stash issues in a minute. Some that I had bought when I decided I wanted to learn how to knit socks, because I was just looking for a fingering weight and didn't really think that, hey, this stuff is kind of rough and you probably don't want to wear it on your feet. But I had this color, which is spruce, and this one you can see has been like about half used, because this is actually the yarn that I learned how to knit socks on. But I have a whole nother one. And then I also had Victorian. But what I picked up, and I bought all this during the Black Friday, I think it was. Yeah. And it just took forever to get here. I was a little bummed with Knit Picks shipping on this particular order, to be honest. Anyway, I got Eggplant, which is a really pretty purpley color. Navy, which is pretty self-explanatory. Semolina, which is a kind of a cool mustard orange or mustard yellow, and I don't know why I've been feeling mustard yellow so much lately. It doesn't really complement my skin color very much, but I've been like, I don't know, I'm finding that, I don't know, I've just been really drawn to it, and I started finally like unpacking and hanging some pictures around my apartment. Well, not unpacking, but hanging pictures around my apartment, and I found that I had like 3 or 4 photo frames that were this color, which is just really different for me. Anyway, also got Oyster Heather, which is just a good neutral beigey color, and Pistachio, which is like kind of a mint green, and lipstick, which was really pretty hot pink. And I also had some of the tonal. I think this one was like Ocean or something like that. I had this from In Stash, but I'm not quite sure what to do with this. So if you have any suggestions, let me know. I don't know that tonal really goes in color work, so I might just have this for no good reason. So if anybody has any suggestions what this would be good for, I have a whole skein's worth. So I believe that's 100 grams on the tonal ones. So any suggestions, let me know. Anyway, so that is pretty much, that's it, all I have for acquisitions, or for stuff I bought. That's an exciting thing. The rest of my acquisitions were Christmas presents. Now my family joked that we do this thing with Amazon wish lists. So we, hold on, let me make sure she didn't accidentally turn me off. Yep, good, we're good. I don't know if you knew this feature on Amazon, but you can basically have your own wish list, and you just, as you're on Amazon, you think, oh, I really want that, but I won't ever buy it for myself. So you just put it on your wish list, and I guess theoretically, like, you go back and you buy it, but my family shares them with each other. So like any day of the week, I can pop in and see what my dad has on his wish list and be like, oh, okay, well, that's what he wants. So it's his birthday, I'm gonna buy it. So we do that in my family. We have for the last couple of years. And yeah, so I had a whole bunch of knitting stuff and a couple of random roller derby things. And my family bought me a lot of stuff off of my wish list, and they were like, this is, you said you wanted it. We have no idea what it does. There was one thing for my roller skates that it's a skate noose. It like has a little slip knot that goes around the toe stops of each skate, and you kind of hang it over your shoulder, and that's how you carry your skates. My mom ordered that for me. When I pulled it out of the box, she was like, now can you tell me what this does? What this is? But yeah, so a lot of my presents were like, we don't know what you do with this, but you said you wanted it, so we got it for you. But yeah, so I got this one I'm really, really, really excited about. My dad got me a set of Carbon's DPNs. This is my favorite sock needle is Carbon's. I like the way the yarn doesn't fall off unless you've got it like on the tippy tips of the metal part. I know some people complain about the join between the metal and the carbon shaft, and personally for me, I kind of like that. I don't knit with so much speed that really bothers me, and I don't find it really messing with my yarn. But it also kind of keeps me from making yarn fly. So yeah, I'm really excited about this. And this has from size 0 to 3, so yay. I also got this was another one of those things my mom was like, what do you do with this? A pattern holder. There's probably a pattern holder because I like to do lace work. So I wanted this for chart keeping. So really excited about this. I didn't realize how big it was when I put it on my wish list. Yeah, but that's exciting. And I also got 3 volumes of Vogue Knitting Dictionaries, which it's kind of funny which ones people pick to get me. But anyway, I got volume 1, which is knit and purl. So it's just a whole bunch of knit and purl patterns. Then I got volume 3, which is color work, and volume 6, edgings. So that was exciting. And then I also got a huge 750 knitting stitches. Oh, Holly wants to check it out. Huge knitting dictionary. So I am not short inspiration at all. So that was some great Christmas presents, and I'm so super happy with my family and super grateful that, you know, they're so used to me like picking up and putting down crafts and hobbies and stuff. So the fact that they were like, okay, she seems to be sticking with this one and bought me these things, like that really means a lot. So I'm super, super grateful. Yeah, so that's it for, oh no, wait, I have one more acquisition. And this was another gift, but it came from a lovely viewer and friend of the podcast. I got this a couple of weeks before Christmas, and to be honest, due to just like the last year and all the personal life changes that I've been going through, Christmas was just not, I wasn't feeling it this year, which is really weird for me because I'm really into Christmas usually. But yeah, so it was a couple of weeks before Christmas. It was really just kind of having a down couple of days, and woke up one morning and I've got this email that says, hey, you have some new patterns in your Ravelry library. Like, wait a minute, hold on. And then I go in and find out that this lovely viewer had gifted me a pattern book that had 4 shawl patterns in it. So I was floored. That's what it took to just really perk me up that day. It was great. And you know who you are. So really, thank you so much. You have no idea how that felt. I will forever be grateful. That was amazing. Just the knitting community in general is so kind and so nice and just so generous. And that's one of the reasons why I love this craft. It's one of the reasons why I wanted to start podcasting, was to just be more a part of that. And that receiving that gift, it was the perfect time, and it was so sweet. The pattern book she sent me was perfectly placed. It's a book, it's got 4 different shawl patterns, and it's by Corinna Ferguson. And I'll insert a link in the show notes to the particular pattern collection and probably a picture right here. But yeah, I'm so excited to start knitting on these. One of the knit-alongs I want to do this year is a shawl knit-along. Sorry, I had a little bit of interruption there. I thought I lost my mic. One of the knit-alongs I want to do this year is a shawl knit-along. So I am going to pick a shawl from that collection. So again, thank you so much. So yeah, that's really it for acquisitions. So let's move on to group news. All right, first off, let me apologize if that last section got a little crinkly with sound. This was, in hindsight, probably not the best scarf to wear. Not even a knitted scarf, actually. Best scarf to wear to clip my mic to, because it keeps kind of twisting, but I think I've got that issue solved now. Group news. We have reached 100 subscribers. We are actually at 116 that I checked right before I started recording. So, wow, that is super exciting. I really didn't expect us to get up to over 100 subscribers so quickly. I would greatly, I appreciate everybody that has been joining in and checking me out and interacting through, YouTube comments, Ravelry message board, Ravelry messages. Sorry. Can't drop the chew toy. It's been, crazy and exciting, and I'm just floored with the response. It's been great. So in celebration of that, I had promised a giveaway. So we had talked about that I had been trying to chase down a particular yarn that I've been looking for, and unfortunately it didn't happen in time. I'm still hoping that I can get a skein of it for the knit-along giveaway, but for purposes of the 100 subscriber giveaway, I decided to do something a little bit different, and I am parting with a skein of yarn that I really indulged in, and it's just a really nice yarn that was in my stash. And I know myself, and I know that I will hoard this like crazy and never knit with it, and this is just too pretty not to become a finished object. So I've decided that for the 100 subscriber giveaway, I am parting with a much loved skein of my own personal stash. I actually featured this on my first podcast. It is by Fido Designs and Fiber, and it's their Sui base in the Miami colorway. Now this is a 50% superwash merino wool, 50% silk. It's a 4-ply fingering weight yarn, 435 yards, and it's 100 gram skein. This is easily the softest, squishiest yarn I have ever held. It's beautiful. It is so beautiful, and it deserves a good home. In my stash is not a good home, because like I said, I know I will hoard this. And there are so many of y'all that are making so many beautiful objects. I would rather see this as a finished object than languishing in my stash bins. So, and this is not a cheap yarn, so be very excited. I had picked this up at a yarn store I checked out in Minneapolis a couple of months ago. So that is part of the prize for 100 subscriber. And the other one, I kind of breezed through these a couple of weeks ago, but it's some stitch markers that I purchased on, or some progress keepers I purchased on Etsy. Ooh, Holly wants them. She's going to demonstrate them for us. Got a couple of different ones on here. I've got a yarn ball, a pretzel, a Russian nesting doll, a cat, and a bumblebee. So a whole bunch of different stitch markers. I bought myself 5 and bought 5 for the purposes of this giveaway. So, yep, that's that. I'm going to go ahead and as this episode gets published, I'll go ahead and open up the thread in the Ravelry group. I'm going to leave it up for 2 weeks, so it'll close on January 20th is the date that I am saying on, because I'm estimating that it'll probably take me until Wednesday night or Thursday to get this podcast published. Yeah, so post in there on the giveaway, and the prompt I want you to answer is, what do you want to see on this podcast? What do you want me to talk about? What is something that you think is interesting that I should kind of explore? Or what's something you want to hear more about? I know that there are so many podcasts out there, and again, I'm super grateful for everybody that is subscribed to mine and is watching mine, because that's exciting, because Lord knows I have a hard time keeping track and keeping up with all the ones I watch. So thank y'all so much for taking time for me. So I want to make sure that what I'm producing for y'all and what I'm showing y'all is something that keeps your interest and something that you're finding interesting. So yeah, just post in there, what do you want to see more of, or what do you want to see? What do you think would be interesting for me to talk about? So again, it'll close on the 20th, and I will use a random number generator to draw for a winner. So that is the 100 subscriber giveaway. The next thing is we're going to go ahead and open up the Challenge Yourself Knit Along. And I've talked about this for the last couple of episodes. It is kind of in honor of my first knit-iversary, which was January 1st. That was when I taught myself how to knit, was New Year's Day, or New Year's Eve and New Year's Day of 2015. So the idea for the knit along was to pick something that is a challenge for you, something, a particular style, a technique, pretty much anything in there that is a challenge for you. One of the viewers that I've been interacting with through messages said that, you know, she's always found socks to be a challenge. So she was going to knit some socks for our knit along. So there's an idea. I myself am challenging myself with color work, because that is one of the main skills that I want to pick up this year. So again, this is an opportunity, and this one could work across a whole bunch of different knit-alongs that are going on right now. If you think shawls are challenging, there's like a couple of people, I know Andy with Andre Sue Knits isn't hosting a shawl knit-along, and I believe she's also the Book of Stitcher, Jeanette is. There's so much opportunity for double dipping, and feel free. I don't have a problem with that, personally. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of opportunity there. It's really open-ended. It's kind of what you want to knit along. I just really encourage people to talk about it in the thread. I'm going to have a chatter thread and a finished objects thread. I'm kind of thinking I might actually have a prize, one for finished objects and one for chatter participation. So I'm really, I'm encourage you to get in there, chat about it. If you're, especially for those of us that are new to everything on this should be a challenge. I know I might want to reach out and for some of y'all that are more experienced with color work and, ask for help with that. So yeah, I really encourage some group interaction on this one. I think it would be fantastic. And, this is such a helpful community, so it would be really something exciting to work on together. I'm still working on prizes for that. Again, I'm really hoping to get a skein of that yarn. She wants to give kisses now. Holly, say hi. Hi. Mama, I'm not a prize, am I? No, you're not a prize. Well, you're a prize to me. Anyway, really hoping to get a skein of that yarn. Probably get some more stitch markers, thinking about some project bags. I've got a whole bunch of ideas on what I want to do for prizes, and I have until the end of March to sort all that out, and I'll kind of display them throughout the podcast as I get them. Also, if you're a viewer that is like a designer or anything, and y'all want to donate like a copy of a pattern, anything like that, get in touch with me on Ravelry or such, and we can talk and see if that's something that anybody wants to do. Again, totally not required, but if you want to, feel free. But yeah, I'm working on that. Again, it's going to be a 2-month-long knit along, so I will go ahead and open up the thread tonight probably, and then I will close it the last week of March. I'll give you a firm date next episode, but it's 2 months to work on whatever you're doing. I am going to put one stipulation on that, and that you must be a member of the Ravelry group on the day of drawing. So yeah. And in that spirit, I just share real quick. I talked about this last episode. I actually got it out of stash because I thought I might have done it on the lost episode. But I am doing the Garfunkel hat, and I'll go ahead and insert a picture of that here. It is a pattern from O Wool, and I bought the O Wool to do it. So it's a little color work hat. I felt like that should be really good for me. And if I finish in time, I am also going to do the cowl, lakeside cowl or something like that. I talked about this last episode, and this was the yarn that I had purchased from O Wool for that. I just bought the kit. So yeah, so that's what I'm working on. Color work. Yay. Yep, so that's pretty much it for group news. Again, join in. We've got quite a few people over there interacting and chatting now, so feel free to drop by and say hi, and keep an eye on the different threads for the 1,000 member giveaway, or the 100 subscriber giveaway, 1,000 my dreams, and the challenge yourself knit along. So that is that. Now let's go ahead and move on to chatter. Yeah, I got a lot to chat about, so we'll go ahead and move on to chatter. All right, moving on to chatter, because I have a lot to chat about today. And it's nitty chatter. I just have a lot to say. So let's go ahead and move on. Podcasts. As I spent a lot of time on my couch trying to knock through Christmas knitting and such, I really binge watched some podcasts, and I binge watched some Netflix too, but a lot of podcasts. So I wanted to mention 4 of the new ones that I started watching. First one is Gabby at Once Upon a Corgi. She's this cool chick that lives up in Connecticut, and just definitely a more experienced knitter, and she does all kinds of cool stuff, and she talks about all of her stuff. And like we all do, kind of our MO, what we do. She also has 2 adorable corgis and a cat, so they're fun. Again, that's, I guess, where she got the name Once Upon a Corgi. And she also makes bags, and I don't know if she sells the bags. She talked about bags. She does sell hand-dyed yarn on Etsy. So anyway, check her out. She's great. Again, it's Once Upon a Corgi. The other one that I just started watching, finally, is Andy at Andre Sue Knits. And I can't believe it took me so long to get around to watching Andy, because everybody, it seems like, watches her and talks about her. But she's this really fun, crafty lady, and one of the things I really enjoy about her podcast, well, beyond the fact that she does all kinds of different crafts, and then she brings her daughters on to talk about their crafts, like one of them does needle felting. She also hand dyes yarn, so she's been doing a dyeing series, which is something that I definitely want to try. But she also, just the production value of her podcast is great. Like, she does all these great little title cards and stuff, which hopefully I inserted, you've been watching throughout my episode, because that was one thing I did want to accomplish this episode. Sorry, my hair is doing something kind of funky up here, and it's distracting me. Anyway, yeah, just the production value of her podcast is great. So I really enjoy watching Andy. Another one that I started watching is Natalie at Natter's Knits, and she is, I was thinking about it. I thought at first, I was like, oh gosh, she's the only person that I watch that's overseas, but I'm sorry, this is going to really bug me because I keep seeing it and I'm like, oh my god, y'all are probably thinking my hair looks funky. Anyway, but she isn't. I actually thought about it. I watched Molly at Homespun House and Free and Stitch in Sweden, so she's not the only one overseas. But anyway, she also does hand spins yarn and sells it. So she's really great to watch. So definitely check out Natalie. And again, it's Natters with a K. K-N-A-T-T-E-R-S, knits, K-N-I-T-S. And one that I've just been enjoying the heck of, like, I feel like I just found, like, somebody who could be my best friend, is Melissa at Spicy Homemaker. She is so funny and just laughs at herself and just is having a great time podcasting. And I really enjoy her show. It's definitely super entertaining. So if you haven't checked out Melissa at Spicy Homemaker, definitely give her a chance. Definitely check her out. She's so much fun. Yeah, so one thing that a lot of the podcasters have been talking about is their knitting goals for 2016, and which makes sense, you know, New Year's resolutions, that's kind of what you do, is you make some goals. I'm not so great with resolutions. I tend to break them within like the first 5 days. But goals is something I'm good at. I like having an endpoint and something I can work towards, and kind of like making a plan. I'm good at that. So I'm good at making plans. That sounds really arrogant, right? Anyway, so I did make some knitting goals and some goals for the podcast that I kind of want to share with y'all. First one is I want to knit and finish a garment. So pretty sure that my featherweight cardigan is going to count as probably the only one. But I definitely want to finish that this year. And I also want to kind of throw in a caveat there. I want to finish a fitting garment. Like, I know it's cute, like you make a wonky sweater and, you know, you give it to your boyfriend or your husband. They're like, oh babe, so sweet, you made me a sweater even though the sleeves are uneven. Now I want to make something that I can wear that I'm really proud of. So yeah, that's, I think, another reason why I'm going really slow on the featherweight, just because I want it to look good and I want it to be something that I can be like, oh my god, look guys, I made a sweater. I want to be able to like wear it and people are like, oh my god, where'd you get that? I'm like, I made it. Yeah, so that is knit a garment. Second one, I want to join more knit-alongs. The first one I'm definitely doing this year is the shawl knit-along that Andy at Andre Sue and Jeanette at Book of Stitcher are doing. I talked about it earlier. I got that great gift of the pattern book for shawls. So I'm planning on participating in that one. I really like the idea of like competitive knitting and knitting with like an end date. It really keeps me motivated. So I also joined, I did this probably around like Thanksgiving, joined the group that's Hogwarts on Ravelry. It's centered around Hogwarts, Harry Potter's school. And the idea is like you're in a house and you compete for like the house cut points. So it's like a team effort thing and also like an individual thing. But yeah, so right now I'm only in orientation, which is, I guess I have to like prove that I actually knit. I don't know. And then I will be put into a house. I've already submitted my first project and gotten points. So I already know I'm going to go into sorting next year, or sorting next term. So I think, which is at the end of January, if I remember correctly. So that's, yeah, I'm really, so one of my resolutions is to be, one of my goals is to be active in the Hogwarts thing. The other one I want to talk about is participating in swaps, and this kind of goes along with also I want to start a sock yarn blanket this year. The sock yarn blanket pattern, Kimber at Junkyard Podcast published her own like sock yarn blanket recipe, and that's the one I plan on following because she laid it out incredibly simply. So yeah, I want to participate in more swaps and mini swaps and stuff like that, so I can have like a really cool one that, you know, represents like all my new little knitty friends and, you know, just all the different stuff that I worked on. So I'm actually participating in a really cool swap with the Spicy Homemaker podcast group that I'm really excited about. It's there is Bohemia Fibers, which is an independent yarn dyer. I believe her name is Amy. She specializes in doing custom colorways. The idea is you send her like a picture, something that inspires you, and she dyes a skein of yarn to match that picture. I mean, how cool is that? So in this mini giveaway, there's 20 of us participating, and we each sent her a picture, and she's gonna dye a skein of yarn for each of us, and then chop it up into minis and send all the minis to everybody. So I will get 20 mini skeins, one from every participant, I guess, including myself. I hope I'm getting my own. And yeah, so that's super, super exciting. And I will try and remember to insert a picture here of the picture that I sent. It's from Avery Island in Louisiana, which is where Tabasco sauce is made. They have a really cool like drive-through nature preserve area, and this is a picture that I took a couple of years ago when I visited there. And yeah, so I really like the greens and the neutrals and stuff. Green's not a color I really knit with a lot, so I think that would add some interest to me. So yeah, this is the picture that I chose. So yeah, just doing swaps. And in that vein, if any of y'all want to swap with me, I have a lot of scrap yarn, or like scrap fingering, DK, all kinds of stuff. So if anybody wants to swap, I love to swap. And I'm kind of like cheesy, like I'll probably put like other stuff in there too. So if you want to, let me know. Get in touch with me on Ravelry. I'd be way open to doing that kind of stuff. So let me know. Another one that I want to do is I want to find a charity knitting project. I feel like I do a lot of selfish knitting and, well, the last couple of months gift knitting, but I want to also do something for charity. Maybe like, you know, little preemie hats or something like that. So I would like to really find a charity knitting project that I could take part in. So if anybody has any suggestions on that, let me know. And the big one is to knit my stash. I have been knitting for 1 year and 4 days now, and I have an embarrassing amount of yarn. Like, whoa. I shared it with a group of friends the other day, and even people that knit, and they're like, you got a lot of yarn. Like, I'm a knitter and you have a lot of yarn. So I am really, really going to try not to buy yarn unless it's for a giveaway, a prize, or somebody gifted it to me this year. I need to knit what I've got. I have an embarrassing amount of yarn and dollar figure in yarn sitting in my stash. I need to take care of that. So I actually made a spreadsheet in Excel detailing everything that I had in stash. I took pictures of everything I had in stash, and I'm gonna like almost make a game out of it for myself. So yeah, that's the big goal, knit my stash. And in a little bit, I will take you on a tour of my stash because I did some massive organization to it the other day. And I kind of want to show it off because I'm really proud of it. So, but you'll see what I mean. Yeah, so that's it for my knitting goals, and I feel like that's a lot. I actually forgot about the color work thing, but I feel like I'm already accomplishing that anyway. So, that's it for knitting goals. For podcast or blog goals, I want to podcast weekly. I know for the most part, I've been pretty weekly, but then I get kind of sporadic and go away for like 2 weeks. I really want to produce weekly. I also want to interact more on the Ravelry boards myself and with y'all. Come on, guys, come talk to me. Also on the blog, I would like to blog more, and I'm thinking about shooting for a bi-weekly post. So we'll see how ambitious that is. I want to host more knit-alongs this year. Again, this is just my first one, and I want to try and do at least 3 this year. So we're definitely going to look for more knit-alongs. That's definitely a big goal for me. And I also think it would be kind of fun to host like a joint knit-along with another podcaster, or do some sort of interaction with another podcaster that I enjoy. So if you have a podcast and you'd like to do some sort of work together, let me know. I think that would be really fun. It's a community kind of thing. I'm sitting here talking to my camera, y'all are watching me on the TV, but it's still a community, and we still like to share, and we're still a whole bunch of makers, and I would love to have some more like real-time interaction. But yeah, that's pretty much it for podcast and blog goals. Those are pretty ambitious. I mean, I also definitely have some personal goals this year, but I have some personal podcast goals that I don't really feel like sharing. But those are the ones that I'm really highlighting on, so yeah. So I said that I was going to talk about my stash. I'm going to go ahead and insert a video here of a little tour through my new stash and tool organization. I dedicated some time New Year's Eve to just really cleaning this up because I had it in like multiple cardboard boxes and in spaces all over my apartment, and it was just nasty. So I really wanted to make sure like all this beautiful yarn I have wouldn't get messed up. So took some time, invested a little bit of cash in it, and yeah. So I'm gonna insert a video here about my new stash organization. So enjoy. All right, guys, here is a tour into my yarn stash, hosted by Miss Holly, apparently. And sorry for the crappy lighting. This is actually in my closet, so yeah. Apartments problems. Anyway, I really wanted to show it off because I'm super excited with how it turned out. So anyway, so let me see if I can zoom out a little bit so you can get the bigger picture. I bought these bins at Target. I love Target after Christmas because they seem to realize that everybody has tons of Christmas stuff and wants to get organized, so they put a sale on organizing in like bins and stuff like that. So I think I got these, like the big one I think was only like $7, and these medium-sized ones were like $5, and these littles were $3. So yeah, that's really exciting. Anyway, so kind of looking along, I sorted these by weight, sort of. Obviously fingering, an embarrassing amount of fingering and sock yarn. DK and Sport, got quite a bit of those too. Colorwork, this is where I put all of my palette because I kind of want to keep that stuff separate. Also, here's one for fiber, even though I only have like 2 things of fiber, my spindle's in there too. And lace, cotton for like all the dishcloths and stuff that I buy stuff for and hardly ever make. And crochet for those little animals that I just really want to get into. So that one looks super full, but those were like $3 balls of yarn from Joann's. And that's all my worsted. Worsted's obviously in the biggest. So let's take a dive into one of them so you can kind of see what we got going on inside. Sorry, Holly, didn't mean to scare you. And I like that these are like the little snap handles too. So I just have them all kind of arranged. Not really by anything. They're kind of just as they came. So yeah. Sorry if I'm making out like super seasick. And then let me find an example of what I'm talking about here. Okay, so those ones that like I've frogged or that are in like multiples bowls, I've got in little Ziplocs. Yeah, like that. And then yeah, so I mean I've got like all my favorite stuff, like the gingerbread house I just showed and special snowflake and all that all in here. And each bin's similar. What I did though with those yarns that I bought specifically for projects, I kept those in gallon Ziploc bags. So like if you take a look in the DK, you see the oval, that's the stuff that I have set aside for the Garfunkel hat. So if I bought it for a particular project, I sorted it out. So that is my stash. And then take a quick little journey, and I didn't really think about this. My room is kind of a mess, so I hope y'all aren't noticing all of that. But anyway, I also did organize my little drawer O tools. So we've got this front, this is all of like the sets that I've got. So interchangeables, DPNs, sets, and then this is like all the travel style stuff. So like my DPN tubes and little ergo gloves and some readers that I have to use sometimes. And little itty bitty notions patches for stitch markers. This one is just like stuff that like would go in a project bag. So row counters as I need them, tape measure, everything else is pretty much in project bags. And then some scrap yarn. Cable needles, holders, and my needle gauge. This is like all stuff that is for like gift knitting. So I got these little soak palettes, like soak packets. to give to people whenever I gift them something. And then I also bought some labels made by Soak. See if I can see. It's kind of fun little labels. So that's for that. Beading. And then stitch markers. So I split them up by split ring. Here's little things for the interchangeable tools. Clothes rings. Here's any progress keepers. And like these are some stitch markers that I made a while back, as well as some other miscellaneous ones. And then darning needles. And then back here I have just miscellaneous cutting tools and some pins and a little notebook. And then this thing, all these like blue ones actually came inside this, but I wanted to do it a little bit different. So inside here is all of my DPNs and my circulars that like aren't part of a set. So, and I got all this, these at Target, and these are like, actually, if you're familiar with Birchbox, the makeup and stuff subscription service, I used to be a subscriber and I kept a whole bunch of the boxes, so that's what I'm using as organization there. Oh, and these are, I like to keep, like as I buy stuff from like indie yarn dyers and stuff, I like to keep their little cards, so I've got that there. Anyway, there's some stash, and this is my little tool desk. That's in my room, so there's my winder and my, or there's my ball winder and my Swift, so this is like my little nitty station. So, hope y'all enjoyed, and let's get back to the podcast. Thanks, bye. So, I hope you enjoyed my new stash organization. I'm proud of it. It makes me happy to walk in my closet and see all those cute little label bins. Makes me happy to open up the drawer that was used to be like pile of and see like cute organized stuff. So hope you enjoyed. It's pretty basic tools, but it is my thing. Now the chatty chat time. I've gotten some questions, and you know, actually as other podcasters have talked about my cast, they keep mentioning roller derby. So I guess that's kind of, it's definitely unusual, I guess, for our community to be in the roller derby thing. But anyways, so people just asked me to talk a little bit more about it. Oh. Yes, Siri. Siri wants to interact, apparently. So roller derby. I had taken off a couple of weeks around the holidays, mostly because I was so overwhelmed with all my holiday knitting, and just, again, the holidays were just not the best for me this year. Had taken off a couple of weeks from roller derby and just went back with gusto yesterday. First time that I had really done any athletic activity in like 3 weeks, and like this is as high as I can lift my arms today. My legs are actually really surprisingly okay. I guess I'll feel it probably tomorrow. Usually when I'm going down the stairs 2 days later is when I feel it. But yeah, I'm going after it with gusto because I actually have a date that I'm aiming for now. March 12th is the next time that we have a draft onto actual teams, and I want to be draft eligible by March 12th. So guys, hold me accountable. I will be draft eligible by March 12th. I have about 30 seconds to shave off of my lap time. And that's not one lap around that I have to do, and that I have to shave 30 seconds off of because I'm a lot faster than that. I have to go around 10 times and fall down on 4 of those times and get back up in 2 minutes and 10 seconds, and I'm at 2 minutes and 40 right now. So I have to shave 30 minutes off, and then I've got some footwork stuff that I got to get through. Mostly the turnarounds and jumping at the same time is really intimidating to me. But anyway, March 12th, I will be draft eligible March 12th. So that's what's going on with derby. Also, if you know anything about roller derby, you know that we all have kind of funky names. I was given a name at practice a couple of months ago that I'm really not a big fan of. It has an expletive in it that I'm just really not a big fan of hearing over and over and over again on a loudspeaker. So, I mean, I have no problem with cussing at all. I cuss all the time, but I just don't want to hear my name and then this expletive over and over on a loudspeaker. So, I've been trying to come up with a new name. I've got some ideas I'm kind of batting around, but y'all are all so creative. I thought I would throw this out there. Help me choose a roller derby name. Everybody has like fun, cool ones. Like one girl is Silver Cyanide because she's like a chemist or something. Molly Madness. Who was another one? We have Dictator. That one's funny. We got all kinds of fun nicknames. So if anybody's got any suggestions, I'm totally open to hearing them. I actually think I might open up a thread in the group. So if you have any ideas on a derby name, let me know. That is just not where I'm creative. I am not punny at all. So like, give me some ideas here, please. Because if not, by the time I have to have one by draft, or else I'm going to be stuck with the name they gave me. So please help me out. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for roller derby. Oh, we have a bout this weekend that I'm super excited about. I'm actually gonna, my team skates on the bank track. So it's at like this much of an elevation and you're skating around like this on it. So I'm going at 1 o'clock on Saturday to learn how to skate on that kind of track. Cause mostly we practice on the flat track and then skate on the banked. So I'm gonna go learn how to skate on the bank track this weekend, which I will probably have some new bruises next time I podcast because that's not going to be fun. Well, it's going to be fun, but it's not going to be easy at all. And then we have 2 games Saturday night that I am either volunteering for duties during them or watching. So I'm really excited about that. We have games about once every 6 weeks, so excited about that. Other thing I want to talk about is that I'm just like super obsessed with. I don't know if she's been around a while, and if y'all are crafty, you've probably heard of her. But this is, I got myself a little treat for Christmas. I got an Erin Condren life planner. And these are cool because she personalized them. See, I did my initials. And they're just really neat planners. And I went a little sticker crazy. Like, I haven't been this excited about stickers since I was like 7. But like, okay, here's a blank page. Anyway, they're just really cool because one of my goals this year is to definitely be more organized about things. So I got this life planner for my personal organization and, you know, like appointments, life, derby, knitting, all that good stuff to go in here. And again, I've gotten really sticker crazy. My cousin got one for Christmas at my suggestion because she had mentioned that she really wanted one. And so we've both been geeking out on this thing like crazy lately. And then I also got one of her notebooks that I'm going to use as a blog and podcast planner. So this is what I'm really obsessed with right now. I swear, I've been ordering stickers and making stickers. I made a whole bunch of stickers last week. Seriously, like the craft just spews out of my pores sometimes. Like, whatever. Anyway, so that's something else that I've just been super obsessed with lately and been spending a lot of time on. So yeah, that's that. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for chatter. And with that, that's it for the podcast. Yeah, I think that's it. That's all I've got. So I will go ahead and say goodbye. Don't forget, check me out on Ravelry, on Instagram as dflyb. The group is Sip and Stitch Podcast, and I'm also on Twitter as Sip and Stitch Knitter, but I hardly ever tweet. And what I tweet is just what I Instagram most of the time. And there was another one. Oh, show notes on sipandstitchknit.blogspot.com. So check us out. Come say hi. Come follow me. Share me. I love interacting with all of y'all so much. So please, please, please. And anyway, I'll leave it at that, and I will catch you in a week. Bye.